Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually, he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now.
Hello, and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 2 of the QazAkonda show. I'm Behram Kazi, who you can find at DefMango on Twitter. And with me is my other half, or the other half of the show, Varun Alvakonda, who you cannot find on social media even if you try. And in episode 2, we will be previewing Pakistan's upcoming 2-match test series at home versus South Africa. But before we get into all of that fun stuff, just want everyone to know that all of our podcasts on the Good Areas Network are powered by our supporters on Patreon. And you can become one of them by going to Patreon/Good Areas Podcast. And that way you can enjoy ad-free content, you can talk to us exclusively, and you can give us podcast recommendations. All right, then, Varun, start of the World Test Championship cycle for both Pakistan and South Africa. It's a tough tour for South Africa because we know that the surfaces will rag, and perhaps even from day one. How do you see both of these teams going into this new cycle?
Yeah, it's interesting. So from memory, South Africa don't have Temba Bavuma, which is probably a big loss for them, isn't it? Like he's been by some distance the best batter in the last few years, so it's definitely a big loss. And yeah, I'm interested to see how the surfaces will pan out because I honestly don't know what will happen. So anything could happen. So it's fun.
Go on.
I think it's going to be fun though because I don't mind lottery pitches, especially when India's not playing. It's fun to watch.
Well, it's interesting because you can expect the patio heaters and pedestal fans to come out once again. Pakistan is going the spin to win route, and we've seen it work versus England. We've seen it backfire versus the West Indies. And the thing with lottery pitches is that it's a straight shootout because you're gambling to the point or rolling the dice to the point where the game becomes toss dependent. And if you're batting last or not batting first, that is a bit of a handicap. Now, Pakistan can still win games of Test cricket versus teams which are weak against spin, like South Africa are, in fact, at home in these conditions. But if they lose the toss, there's no guarantee they'll win. Because sure, in 5 matches on these sort of tracks where you're batting last, maybe you can win 1 or 2. But, I feel like you will lose a vast majority of those games. So I'm not comfortable with the strategy from a long-term perspective because your batters, they struggle to develop. Your fast bowlers, they struggle to develop. Pakistan's heritage is with respect to fast bowling. Like that's what Pakistan is known for as a cricketing side. I mean, that, doesn't help either. You kind of cripple yourself in that facet. And then also, you are making the test far too one-dimensional that it does take the sting out of it. Like it's done in 3 days or sometimes even lesser time than that. And I mean, maybe you'll get short-term gains, but then again, you're leveling the playing field to a point where even your Aiden Markrams and Salman Ali Aghas will be really dangerous with the ball if the surfaces or the ball is turning square off the surface. I don't see, I feel like the cons outweigh the pros over here.
Yeah, so I think I disagree a bit about the toss thing, where I think it should matter less than a traditional subcontinent pitch, which helps batting for the first 3 days and then rags, because that is entirely toss dependent, where it's like if you batting last is a disadvantage. If it's spinning from ball 1, it really shouldn't matter, like what day it is. It's just going to be hard to bat on. What I do agree with is the equalizing of skill part, where even like part time has become dangerous, right? And that is not very good. And I agree with you that you're taking fast bowling out of the game. And I love watching fast bowling, so I'm very disappointed that I can't get to watch a lot of fast bowlers. But yeah. And then it also it's fun, and it's also, as you said, there are cons with it as well. So from what I can see, Pakistan are trying to find a happy medium, and we've seen them in the last few years be on the both extremes ends of it. Hopefully, at some point they'll reach a good middle ground.
I mean, in an ideal world, you have 4 major test centers, right? Rawalpindi, Multan, Karachi, and Lahore. You create specific surfaces in each center and then invite teams to play according to, what suits you better. So if you feel like turning pitches will help you versus South Africa, sure, you curate those, but have them in specific venues. And I just don't like the whole element of the ball turning square from day one. Like when you have dust bowls of that magnitude, I personally feel like you're not helping yourself in the long run, and also you're giving the opposition team an equal chance to win. You're not really gaining any home advantage as such. And Pakistan still does probably fare better on these sort of tracks than South Africa because they play spin better than South Africa. But then again, man, you say that maybe it doesn't matter as much on rank turners whether you bat last, but the pitch does progressively get worse to bat on. So if it's bad on day one, whoever bats last will be at a slight disadvantage, no?
So, like, if let's say like on a traditional subcontinent pitch, like I'll give the batting difficulty like let's say it's a 5 on day one, right? It gets progressively harder to like an 8 or a 9 on day 5, right? If it starts at an 8 and then even if it ends up at like a 10, that jump is not as much as it would be on like a traditional pitch. That's my point with it. So even though there might be a slight advantage, it's not. I wouldn't say it's as bad as it would be on a traditional pitch, and that usually only applies if there's the skill level between two teams is similar. If one team's better, then even on a traditional subcontinent pitch, the toss doesn't matter. But we've seen that with India during that 2016 to 2019 period, right? Where I think what was it, England like batted once and made 400 and lost by an innings. Like when there is a skill difference, massive skill difference, no one really cares. That's when the rank turn is like a matter of. But what I genuinely could not tell you is South Africa a better team than Pakistan or not in Test cricket? Like, I honestly don't know at this point. Maybe it might just be a conditions thing, where in Asian conditions, Pakistan might be a slightly better side than them. But like, I honestly like again, 2024 just made it so difficult to track who's good at Test cricket because everyone just beat everyone. So like,
Yeah. It is really fascinating, isn't it? I know South Africa are World Test champions, but they've still got a fragile batting lineup. And they won 2-0 in Bangladesh, where you get similar surfaces which turn a lot or offer a lot of turn. But they did have Temba Bavuma in that series, if I can recall correctly. And Temba has been their best performer with the bat in the previous World Test Championship cycle, which they won. He is not available for the entirety of this tour, right? At least the red ball leg of this tour. And then also Keshav Maharaj is not available for the first test match. He's injured. He's recovering from injury. So South Africa are at a bit of a handicap over here, I will say this, and they don't play spin as well as Pakistan, but they've still got some good spinners up their sleeve. If you can bring up their squad, you've got Simon Harmer, who is at this point an Essex legend. And then, of course, you also have two guys who are kind of fringe players in Senuran Mutusami, and then Prenalan Subrayan, whose name I cannot read over here, but he's definitely in the squad. I can tell you that.
no, I wonder what happened there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Muthuswamy, I assume, will play. Like him and Harmer should be the starting spinners for them. Maharaj will replace one of them when he's back. I don't know who he replaces, but yes.
Yeah, so it's an interesting squad. You've got Aiden Markram as captain because Temba's not available. Then you've got David Bedingham, who for a period or a year in between was South Africa's most reliable bat. And then next year, everyone else scored tons and he was struggling, but he had a good World Test Championship final. I'm not sure how good he is versus spin, though, in testing conditions. That remains to be seen. Then you've got Corbin Bosch. Does well versus Pakistan in the small sample size that we have. Baby makes it. Dave Brevis, who could be a dynamic batter. Tony DeZorzi is probably backup opener. And then you've got Simon Harmer, Marco Janssen, Vian Mulder, Senuran Mutusami, Ryan Rickleton, who I reckon will open the batting with Markram, Tristan Stubbs, who's another dynamic batter and can do well versus spin, Kyle Verreynne, who scored runs versus Bangladesh in that series, scored a ton, and he's the regular wicketkeeper, who Rakshit doesn't have listed as a wicketkeeper in this graphic. And then Zubair Hamza is the Temba Bavuma replacement, who has scored piles of runs apparently according to CS and domestic.
Yes, I was checking
Zubair's
record. He's averaging Zubair's averaging 60 in the last 2 or 3 seasons of the domestic competition. So
there you go.
Definitely checks out.
And he prefers to bat at number 4 as well. And then Prenalan Subrayan is also part of the squad, who Rakshit clearly missed over here. But
we might be missing Rabada too, by the way.
Yeah, we are missing Rabada. KG Rabada is potent on any sort of surface, right? It doesn't matter. He was also killer in that series in Bangladesh. So, I mean, look, it's an interesting team. The batting lineup is still fragile. The bowling has enough in it to, I feel like they can take 20 wickets in these conditions as well, especially if it's like a shootout and you get a lottery pitch, then that shouldn't be an issue. And yeah, I mean, Maharaj is also missing in this. Everyone's missing in this graphic.
I assume this is I think this is just the first test squad. Samaraj isn't in there. I think that makes
Oh.
sense to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe this is the first test squad. But anyway, I was kind of struggling to make a playing 11 from this team when I was doing the Pro Sports podcast earlier. So you want to take a stab at it?
So Markram and who I forgot Rickleton is probably
Rickleton?
open.
Yeah, I wouldn't go with Dezorzi because Dezorzi, I like him versus pace, got a fantastic cover drive as well. But versus spin, and at least in white ball cricket, I've seen him use his feet a lot and then try to dig himself out of that hole by attacking. Not sure if that's the way forward in tests. He could get easily stumped. So yeah, Markram and Rickleton surely to open, I believe.
And I'm assuming they'll stick with Vian Mulder at 3 as the false 3.
Yeah,
as
why
much as I
not?
hate it. And then, so Stubbs will be the 4 or 5. I'm not sure with the backup batter, will they go for Zubair or will they go
Bellingham.
with not Bellingham? Sorry, I don't know if they'll go with Zubair or Baby AB as the. I guess like I don't know if they would risk having both Stubbs and Baby AB in the on these ranked turners. Maybe they'll want some experience in there as the professional out instead of replacing Bavuma. I'm not sure what their thinking is.
Just to play devil's advocate, wouldn't you have two dynamic batters in there on surfaces where one of those deliveries will have your name on it, so might as well score some runs before you get out? I don't think it's a bad ploy to play both of Dewal Brevis and Tristan Stubbs. You could have them at 5 and 6 behind Bedingham / Zubair Hamza at 4.
Yeah, definitely works. I think so. If you have so you have Stubbs and one of them, you're betting him at 6, Varane at 7, and then so in Bangladesh, I think they had 2 spinners and 2 fast bowlers. So you'd have Muttuswamy and you'd have Harmer, you'd have Rabada for sure, and then no, what am I forgetting? Marco Janssen or Corbin Bosch as the second seamer. The argument there is if you know it's a ranked turner, would it not make sense to just back spin?
Well,
Like, do you
that's
need
the problem.
second seamer, right?
I feel like, look, Pakistan does struggle versus bounce, and Marco Janssen is a tall bloke. He also brings in the left arm angle that you don't value that much. But trust me when I say that Pakistan will struggle versus that angle as well. I feel like he's a good asset to have. Like, if it comes down to playing one of Corbin Bosch or Marco Janssen, I'd go for Marco Janssen. But let's assume they're going with Vian Mulder at 3 as a false 3. Do you then need a third seamer, right? Because KG Rabada is playing for sure. I'm not sure actually now that I look at the squad if this is the squad for the first test, but you'd assume that he would play both test matches because he's KG Rabada. He's got one of the best strike rates ever that the sport has ever seen. And I don't think the surface match matters for him too much. He can still trouble Pakistan with the new ball especially. So if you have got, let's say, Markram, Rickleton, Mulder, let's say Bedingham for now, or Bedingham / Hamza, and then you do play both of those guys. Let's assume they play Baby AB and Tristan Stubbs, right? Or they'll play Hamza and Bedingham both. There you go. There's the updated squad.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah. So then what you can do is that at number 7 you have Kyle Verreynne. Muthusamy can bat a bit, right? You've also got Simon Harmer and KG Rabada. You're left with one spot. You need to decide at that point that do you want to go in with a fast bowler who can bat a bit, an out-and-out fast bowler, or someone who can also turn the ball in addition to Muthusamy and Simon Harmer. Because we know that Keshav Maharaj is not available for the first test match, which is a handicap. Probably a bigger handicap than not having Temba at all, maybe. Because he's an elite slow left armour, right? One of the best in test cricket.
Potentially.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. It's a tricky one because they can either go full dynamic and play both of Stubbs and Baby AB, or they could play both of Hamza and Bedingham to get some more insurance in terms of, players who can maybe bat a bit longer. And yeah, it ultimately comes down to what they value more.
And go spin to win as well. That's the other thing they could do if they want to. I don't know if
they
so ranked turners might not be the worst idea for Pakistan if they completely, let's say, like neutralize Rabadas, which probably will happen on a ranked turner. Then it's basically a shootout between Sajid and Noman versus Hammer and Muthuswamy or Brennan if they play him, right? That might not. I think you'd give the Pakistan the edge, ranked turner or not, in that battle.
It's interesting because Pakistan could also opt to play just a solitary seamer and also throw in Abrar into the mix, right? Like in addition to Sajid Khan and Numan. And South Africa have the same option with Prenalan Subrayan, but I feel like they will still back their strength, man. I feel like they're going to play Janssen and Rabada together because ultimately South Africa is also a team which is known for its fast bowling historically. And I feel like Janssen could also trouble Pakistan on any surface and Rabada is Rabada. So it's a tough call to make. Like Shukri Conrad will be scratching his head. And yeah, I mean, it's a very tricky series to kind of predict as well because, Pakistan can always Pakistan in either direction. And South Africa, despite being World Test champions and they will have that confidence, these conditions don't suit them. And that batting lineup is fragile on any surface, apart from maybe a flat deck.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Like, it's got a high ceiling, but very, low floor, the batting lineup.
Yeah.
Doesn't it? I also don't really know what the form line is for most of them. Like, Mark Ramon is there. Like, is this has he already had his game of the year in the World Test Championship final?
He does. I mean, he does have that trend and he has had that game of the year. But then again, I feel like if South Africa play with a more positive mindset on lottery surfaces where anything can happen and go for runs and don't go in a shell, because we know that South Africa can go into a shell versus spin bowling. There is enough evidence throughout the history of cricket that this is something that South Africa struggle with. If they try to play their shots and put the pressure back on Pakistan, I feel like they have a solid case of even winning the series if the toss goes their way, obviously. I feel like if South Africa are batting last, that's going to be a real uphill task for them.
I honestly think any of both sides have a decent chance of winning this. Like, it just, that's the thing. If they have lottery pitches, anything can happen. All you need is one bowler to have a good day and one batter to have a cameo and you're in with the game.
Yeah.
That's why I think, as a neutral, I enjoy watching this. I hate it when India's in this position. But if two other teams want to do it, have a blast. I'm good. I'll take it. I'll take a quick finish.
My hot take is that Kyle Verreynne will be amongst the runs. That's what I'm just feeling because he scores that ton in Bangladesh as well. Anyway, that's enough on South Africa's squad. And before we go to Pakistan's squad, we shall be taking a short break. You guys are watching episode 2 of the QazAkonda show with Varun and Behram. And we will be back in half a minute, so go nowhere.
Ross Taylor couldn't see at night or when the clouds were in. Eventually, he had to see an eye specialist who would fix his eyesight. In the 2 years before the change, he still averaged more than 50 in international cricket. The top level of batting talent can basically see in the dark. That is who we are talking about in our new book, The Art of Batting. Head over and order your copy today. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now.
All right, then. We've discussed South Africa's squad. We've discussed the surfaces as well. It doesn't matter what venues are going to be played in or what venues are scheduled because like Lahore and Pindi both will have surfaces which are going to turn square. That's at least all the information that I've gotten thus far, right? Pakistan doesn't have a stellar record in Lahore in recent times. They've lost a lot, but then again, I don't think that'll matter when you've gone full spin. Friendly surfaces and then Rawalpindi will once again turn into Rawalpindi, which I suppose we love to see after all the roads that we've gotten accustomed to over the years, Varun. Anyway,
definitely.
Pakistan squad, you can do the honors over here.
So we have Shan Masood as the captain. You have Abdullah Shafiq, Abrar Ahmed, Asif Afridi, Babar Azam, Hassan Ali, Imamul Haq, Kamran Ghulam, Kuram Shahzad, Muhammad Rizwan, Noman Ali, Rohail Nazir, Sajid Khan, Salman Ali Agha, Saud Shakil and Shaheen Shah Afridi.
All right, then. A few comebacks over there and a few exclusions as well. We'll talk about all of those things. But the biggest miss for me in this squad is Mohammad Abbas. The man literally just won a county championship with Nottinghamshire. And one of my, and you would know this, one of our Janis, Mookie. You might recognize Mookie on Pro Sports Podcast. And I think Mookie is actually part of the Good Areas Discord server as well. So he said, and I quote-tweeted him and I said that this should be in a Mohammad Abbas t-shirt. He said that if he can take wickets in Trent Bridge with a Kookaburra ball, then he can take wickets in Pakistan as well. And I feel like he's got a solid point over there because, look, Mohammad Abbas is a seasoned professional. He is probably Pakistan's best red ball seamer. He's a stock bowler who can continue to hit the channel, same area, same line and length, and get the ball to deviate in either direction. Bowl wobble seam as well. Even if he's lost a yard of pace, it's not like he ever relied on pace to get his wickets anyway. And he had success in the UAE as well. Why Pakistan do not play him in every test match is beyond me. And it really ruffles my feathers, man.
Yeah, that might also just be an element of Pakistan just don't like stock bowlers. Like,
Yeah.
if you look at the history, it's a very safe assumption on my part to make that they don't really like. I don't think they respect. They're always looking for the magic bowlers, right? You want 90 miles an hour and can bowl the reverse swinging Yorkers or something. That's not who he is. But like
Yeah.
he's a very reliable bowler. Like I don't know why he isn't in the squad just for the experience. But I you can make an argument that he shouldn't be in the first 11. I wouldn't completely disagree with it. Maybe you want Shaheen to reverse it or Naseem to reverse it or like Quram.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. I understand. But why would you not have him just for his experience? Like to talk to the guys, right? Like would it not make sense to just keep him in the squad for that? Forget
would
all the bowling
start him.
skills.
Honestly, I would take a stock bowler who can bowl you long spells because you can have a Bass at one end for like 10 overs straight, right? He can Scotty Boland it if you really want him to. You do have a point though with the reverse swing bit because if your conditions are dry, then maybe if the spinners are going to operate for the maximum amount of overs, then you can have that one solid seamer who can reverse the ball and introduce him in short bursts. It's not the worst idea, but I just feel like they've wasted his entire career, man. Like, Mohammad Abbas deserved to play more for Pakistan. He's averaging, 23 with the ball? Got 100 test wickets as well. Has had success in the UAE. What more do you need from a guy? And then they'll bring him for the England tour. And they just continue to waste the man. And I do get very, frazzled by these selection calls. But anyway, Shaheen Shah Afridi's back after a long time. The last time he played a test match was that Multan test versus England. That dreaded Multan test in which they scored like 823. And it's interesting because we know that Shaheen Shah Afridi has lost a bit of bite when it comes to his pace. He can crank it up on occasion, but it's not consistent. But he has dragged his lengths back. We've seen that in white ball cricket. He's been smarter. The pace variations won't really work in Test cricket. That's white ball skill set. You don't want to be bowling a back of the hand slow one or roll over your fingers in Test cricket. But do you think that he can crack it? Because this might be it, man. If he's not successful right now, he might never play a Test match in Pakistan again.
Like, I don't know if he's going to bowl enough overs to be able to crack it if we're getting ranked turners. How many overs is he going to bowl in the test match? Maybe if he bowls 20 overs, I'll be very shocked in the whole test match.
Yeah, look, he's only going to be introduced for like 3 to 4 over bursts, and you want him to kind of crank it up on occasion and then also just continue to hit a channel, which I feel like he's capable of doing now. And then, he has expressed his desire to play the format, but then with Shaheen, you always need to look at workload. And if he is to play the white ball series with South Africa later, and then the ODI series versus Sri Lanka, the tri series, T20I tri series versus Sri Lanka and Afghanistan, then he goes to the Big Bash, then he plays the T20 World Cup. That's a lot of cricket, right? He's got to be rested somewhere. And I feel like, look, if you play him and you don't have enough evidence that he can play on these sort of surfaces and you plan on playing on these sort of surfaces at home, then you just have him as a Sena bowler, unfortunately. What can you do? Or maybe even like in other Asian countries. But this is his time to prove a point that no, I am still Shaheen Shah Afridi. He's somewhat done that in white ball cricket. We might have lost his peak years because obviously injury has hampered his career and I feel like he didn't rehab properly. And they aggravated his injury further, if anything. But this is a big series for him, man. And South Africa are a quality side as well. So if he performs over here, he could really stake his claim.
Yeah, so I don't have an issue with them wanting him to play test matches because I don't think Pakistan play enough test matches in a year for that to be a workload issue. But why is he playing ODIs? It's a T20 World Cup is in February. We don't have an ODI World Cup for like year and a half, 2 years now.
True.
Like you play the tri series and then you play the. Are you playing? I'm assuming they're playing T20s versus South Africa.
Yes, it's a full tour. You never get those anymore, man. It's kind of refreshing that South Africa are going to come over for all 3 formats.
Yeah, and then you have the Big Bash League, which is how many games is the Big Bash nowadays? 10.
10 games if he doesn't qualify for the playoffs. But then again, you never know, man. They might not play the Big Bash League at all, Pakistan players. We're not sure where the NOC situation is at. Anyway, I feel like, look, this squad was trimmed, by the way. Amir Jamal and Faisal Akram were a part of it, and they've kind of nicked them. And it makes sense to maybe get rid of Amir Jamal because you've got Hassan Ali, who, by the way, could have been Mohammad Abbas. You surely play Abbas ahead of Hassan Ali. And then anyway, apart from Hassan, you've got Khurram Shahzad, who's also a stock bowler. He can get the ball to deviate in either direction as well. He's been fairly successful in recent times. He's played county cricket as well. And Shaheen. So you got these 3 seamers. You're going to play two or a minimum of one or a maximum of two out of these three seamers. So if you only play one, do you play Shaheen or Khurram Shahzad? What would you go with?
Yeah, I don't mind going with Shaheen. Like have some X factor there because you have
Yeah.
two reliable spinners. I don't mind taking a gamble with the fast bowling.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that whole angle, if the conditions are dry and you can get that one seamer to get the ball to reverse, I feel like Shaheen probably gets in ahead of Khurram Shahzad if that is considered. But it's a tough one. And then also, there's so many questions over here, man. Firstly, like you were quick to point out in our group chat that Saim Ayub has been dropped. How do you feel about that?
It's an interesting move. Like, if this was how do I put this, a trustworthy team, I would assume there has been open communication that look, you're not out of our plans. We think you're just not in good headspace right now. We'll drop you for this series and you'll come back. Don't think this is the end of the road for you. I do not trust Pakistan to have had that conversation at all. So
Yeah,
that's
I
where
mean,
I'm like a bit worried.
Yeah, you have every reason to be worried because it's the PCB that we're dealing with, peak comedy board. But there are two sides to this coin, the Saim Ayub coin in Test cricket. 14 innings is not a small sample size anymore. You don't even get to play 14 innings in a year if you're a Pakistan Test cricketer, right? And he averages 26 with the bat in those 14 innings, which is not stellar. Then the other side of the coin is that, look, he's your young player who you have kind of earmarked as a generational talent. Then you back that player, right? You don't kind of give up on them so soon. And Test cricket is a hard format to crack. So you let, them kind of get accustomed to it. But I don't know, man. It's kind of brutal or cutthroat these days. And 26 is not a good number to average with the bat. And then again, he's going to be playing valuable red ball cricket in the Quaid-e-Azam Trophy in the meantime. And he has scored 60 odd, I think, yesterday. So I feel like it's not the worst thing to give him some time to rework a few things, work on some of his chinks in the armory. But then again, has that been communicated to him? Is he still part of red ball plans? What are they thinking with respect to Saim? No one knows. That's unfortunately where we're at. And he's not even the worst omission. Like, they've gotten rid of two guys in Huraira and Kashif Ali who were just played in that West Indies series. Huraira was stellar in domestic cricket for years. He was, he leveled Javed Miadad's record of youngest triple centurion as well. And after playing on those dust bowls versus the West Indies in Multan, where he couldn't score any runs, you've binned him, which is not sending out the right message. And Kashif Ali, sure, you can make a case that, okay, better seamers are available. We're sorry. But what excuse do they have of dropping Huraira, right? Because this is a guy who averages, 47 with the bat in first-class cricket. He's been a seasoned performer in Pakistan's domestic circuit. What message are you saying? They're sending then that first-class performers will only be given a series, and if they can't crack it, bye-bye? It's a bigger issue than Saim.
Yeah, that's not enough sample size, especially if you're playing on lottery pitches. If you got two roads and they didn't make any runs, I'd sort of understand it, but like you'd want a bigger sample size before you judge a player. Either they don't. They're either wrong or wrong. So they either never rated him, and so they were looking for an excuse to drop him. In which case, why was he in the squad? Or like, if you do rate him, why are you dropping him after 2 test matches? Either way, you're wrong.
Yeah. I mean, you've got to give someone more time than that, especially when you know that it's tough to score runs on these sort of surfaces anyway. So Saim is secondary for me over here. He's still got 14 innings. Huraira deserved 14 innings as well, don't you think?
Yeah, so I feel like I remember this being a discourse when Saim was played ahead of him in Australia, right? When he made his debut. I think I've won a lot of people saying Huraira should have debuted before him.
I was one of those people.
Right? Yeah. I feel like that's where I heard it from. I think it was from you and Saad, I think.
Yeah, it's just fascinating, man. But there are other calls over here as well. It's the return of Imamul Haq, Pakistan's favorite horse, right? And I mean, look, he scored a truckload of runs. He went to play the Royal One Day Cup in England, and he scored ton after ton after ton, maybe like 4 to 5 centuries over there, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe it was 3 to 4. But then again, he was playing the Royal One Day Cup and not the 100, and all of England's top talent was playing in the 100, right? Similarly, he came back to Pakistan, and in a non-first class red ball game versus very weak team, he scored 330 odd very quickly. Again, he's done his job. Whatever quality of opposition he's faced, he's scored lots of runs and he's done his due diligence over here. But then again, Imamul Haq averages 25 away from home in Test cricket with the bat. And outside of Rawalpindi, he averages 29 with the bat. So those are my concerns. They are major caveats. And this is probably his last chance as well.
Yeah, I assume it would be would be his last chance. I don't know why why again it's like his selection just doesn't make a lot of sense. It feels like, okay, let's just go back to what we know sort of worked, right? It's a bit
Well-
confusing. Like I was surprised when he came back.
He has shown a lot of horsepower and has been galloping. Puns intended. But yeah, look, Imam, he did his bit. If he's gotten this opportunity, he should make the most of it. One of these test matches is in Rawalpindi, right? So even though the surface will be a lot different this time, he has a chance to really stake his claim over here. And I'm obviously rooting for him. And another thing that he does well is he uses his feet well. So that's something that Abdullah also does well versus spin, and he's back into the team after missing out on a series or two series. And here's my, kind of, what would you say, concern. I feel like they're going to open with Abdullah and Imam, right? And Abdullah also has that issue with bat and pad, the gap that he leaves, and he's been vulnerable. His highs are extremely high and his lows are extremely low. He's like the standard deviation king of Test cricket for Pakistan. If you open with them, Shan Masood is your number 3. And Shan Masood is someone who plays positive cricket and he plays quick. And then he's not delaying the entry point of Babar Azam at number 4. And Babar Azam is out of runs anyway. Does that matter a lot on dust bowls? How do you see this? Maybe they should open with Shan and Imam and have Abdullah at first drop. What are your thoughts?
If Abdullah is a standard deviation king, is he going to be consistently delaying Babar in the first place anyway?
That's also a very fair point.
Right. So I do think delaying entry points matters in a different way, because we've seen on ranked turners that it's almost impossible to make runs versus the brand new ball. There's a reason why, like Ashwin and Jadeja is like top scored quite a few times for India, right? And Akshar Patel was like India's best batter in the Border Gavaskar trophies. It's much easier to make runs versus the softer ball. From that point of view, there is still a value in delaying it.
Yeah.
But like, what are we delaying it for? We're not delaying it. Are you delaying it for like prime Babar Azam, or are you delaying it for like Babar who's not made any runs? In which case,
Yeah.
it might not make any difference anyway.
Babar Azam in his last 25 test innings is averaging 23.6 with the bat and he scored 350s. That's a massive sample size. And that is no runs at all. That's the sort of drop in form. If Joe Root has it, he wouldn't beat Sachin's record, right? That's what we're talking about over here. But you know what? Every time Babar Azam is, set to play again for Pakistan, there is a voice inside of me that says this might be the series. That voice has died, bro. It's not there anymore. So maybe now he'll perform? What do you reckon?
It would be impressive if he performs on bowling-friendly surfaces. I think it would also break the narrative that he only makes runs on flat pitches, right? Which is a bit nonsensical in Test cricket. But yes,
Yeah,
I hope he
is-
does well, because there's so much noise around him. So
Yeah.
it's like,
I really do, man. I hope that Babar can kind of get this monkey off of his back and he can go back to his old Babar Azam ways. But I mean, I have no hopes whatsoever. Maybe this works this time, right? A lot of Pakistan's performances, they rest on Babar Azam with the bat because he's the one who was kind of a mainstay and would always get runs, and his runs have dried up. So that is a concern. But then Saud Shakil is averaging 50 plus in 19 test matches, so he's kind of taken up that mantle, and he bats at 5, so his entry point will hopefully inevitably be late, or later at least. Shan Masood, how do you feel about Shan Masood as captain? This is a burning question in Pakistan and might as well have the Alvacondanese answer it.
I don't think I have strong opinions either way for him. He's fine as a captain. I'm not looking at him thinking he's disastrous as a tactician, but also don't think I've ever seen him be like, oh, this is tactical genius. Like, I don't think I've ever seen it before. So he's fine. Like he can. I don't think he's a negative as a captain. That's what I'll say.
I think he was actually really good as a captain in Australia, and he manufactured a few wickets, and I was really impressed with
fair.
that. But then there are times later, though, where I feel like his captaincy has let Pakistan down as well. But then again, I know that Shan is someone... Look, he's an average batter who's worked really hard. Every time he's come back into the team, it's been on merit. He's also been a performer for Pakistan. He's been a performer for different counties in England. He's scored a lot of runs over there, and Pakistan do tour England in this World Test Championship cycle. But the thing with Pakistan is that their coach is Azhar Mahmood, who literally is their head coach because his contract was running and they probably want to cut corners, right? That's what they wanted to do. And he will be gone after 2 series. And Shan Masood, yes, I am sure, have him as captain. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. He could even be useful in England. But then he's averaging 30 in Test cricket, and if he has 2 bad series with the bat or 2 poor series and averages 20 to 25 in those series, then that axe is dangling above his neck, right? It's not a very secure position to be in, and he's also a Category D contracted player. And Saud Shakil is Category C, so Pakistan doesn't care about Test cricket. That's another thing. You're at the start of a cycle. If he's the captain now, stick with him. If Azhar Mahmood is the right man for the job, if you feel that way, then give him an extension till the end of the World Test Championship cycle. But that's not how they do it in the Pakistan Cricket Board, right? They go series after series or series by series, and they don't look at cycles the way the rest of the world looks at World Test Championship cycles. So I am hoping Shan Masood can score runs because he's going to be under pressure. When you're averaging 30 with the bat in Test cricket, you're always under pressure, Varun.
That's true, but you can make an argument if he averages about 33 as a number three, he'd be one of the best number threes in the world. So
True.
So
Also fair.
if he can do that, I think it's fine. Like maybe like we realize it, but like, I don't think the casual fans realize how bad number threes have gotten. So
Yeah. I mean, Kane Williamson is the only number 3 in the world who's bossing it, and he doesn't even play too frequently anymore, right? Like he's on a casual contract now. That's the thing, right? Relaxed contracts. He's not on a contract at all, actually. He's just, he's available when New Zealand need him. That's what he's doing. But yeah, I mean, look, Shan Masood, whether he bats as opener or bats at first drop, we know how he'll bat. I feel like at some point he made a decision. Either he was inspired by Bazball or this was just due to his own ability or limitations. He probably thought that one of these deliveries will have my name on it, so might as well score some runs before I get out. And it somewhat worked for him. He's been in form recently. He did well in South Africa in that West Indies series. Not many people scored runs. Shan Masood did. So I hope that he can crack it, but then again, he will forever remain on thin ice because of that batting average. You know that the media in Pakistan and in the subcontinent, really, they're like vultures. They're not going to spare him if his form drops.
yeah, although in this case I do think there is an element of like it would be like fair to criticize him for if you're not constantly making runs. Like
Yeah.
after we've just spent time talking about how Pakistan just don't give the batters chances, how many chances has he gotten now, right? Multiple times.
Yeah.
He's like, I've only been following Pakistan cricket for the last 5 years in the Test team, and I think he's made like a comeback 5 times in the time I've watched. So I don't know how many
Yeah.
times they did it before that. So
Honestly, like that's fair criticism, man. He has gotten a lot of opportunities, and he's also old now. So now is the time, I suppose, to really stake your claim. And if you want to play for 3 more years or at least 2 more years and complete this cycle as captain, then the onus is on you. It's just that the way PCB does things, I don't think they've given him that security, and he's going to be under pressure automatically, and that's what I fear. But Pakistan generally has a better batting lineup, at least on paper, than South Africa. There's more insurance over there. You open with, let's suppose you open with, even if you open with Abdullah and Imam and have Shan at first drop. You've got Babar Azam at 4, Saud Shakil at 5, Rizwan at 6, who's been a crisis batter for Pakistan in Test cricket. And then Salman Ali Agha at 7, who is the batter after the batters. And he's averaging 38 as well with the bat in Test cricket. So, supposed to be a good player of spin, although I haven't seen it in a long time. And then Noman Ali. No mug with the bat, and you know that the cult of Nomi Payan is there in Test
Of
cricket.
course.
He is the man, yeah. The youngster celebrated his birthday yesterday, Varun.
I'm
I'd
personally
like you to know.
a fan of Sajid Khan's moustache more than Oman Ali,
Yeah.
but that's just me.
I'm a big fan of Sajid Khan's crazy eyes, bro. Right? Like, blood is dripping down his shirt, and he still has the crazy eyes.
He's the one which
That's what
has
I
the
love
vein
about him.
popping in his head, right?
Yeah. And the bald head, like, I feel like Jared named him the bald John Wick, right? Like,
No, one of the
he has-
comments on our video, I
Yeah.
think someone super chatted it.
Yeah, he has that
Yeah.
reputation. It precedes him. And then, of course, you have either 1 or 2 seamers. Shaheen would probably start. And then Khurram Shahzad as an option. Or you go with Abrar Ahmed as a third spinner, which might not be the worst idea on ranked earners versus a
Yeah.
team that struggles to pick spin. And Abrar, if you don't read him off the hand, he will be a menace to face, right? Because you don't know those finger flickers, man. Finger flickers are in business these days.
That's true. Although, like on a ranked turner, I think I would always back up. You don't need to do fancy stuff anyway.
True.
You just need to be
I mean,
good.
On a ranked turner, Aiden Markram and Salman Ali Agha will be in business. Maybe Saud Shakil
true.
will be in business. Maybe Baby AB will be in business, man. What do we know, right?
That's true.
Anyway,
Anything
other
can
things in
happen.
the squad. Yeah. 2 more things I want to talk to you about. Rohail Nazir is backup for Rizwan. He's his understudy. He averages like 35 in first class cricket, so that's probably a good move by Pakistan that they've
So I,
identified.
think I was checking his record.
know?
So I think he's averaging 60 this year. So
Okay. Lovely.
I think he got 200s in the latest season they had, from what I've checked.
Yeah, he's still young. Former under-19 Pakistan captain. A friend of mine, weirdly. He was on the Pro Sports podcast as well, and then now we're Instagram buddies. But yeah, I feel like it's good to blood a young keeper with the team. And then there's that one burning question of selecting Asif Afridi. So left armour. You might have seen him in a Lahore Qalandars jersey. And then the issue over there is that his age is like 38 or 39. You've already got Noman Ali. if the thought process is that you've gotten rid of Faisal Akram when you trimmed the squad because you want him to go play first-class cricket, well, he's not playing for Multan, right? That's a missed opportunity altogether. And then you either blood a youngster, keep him with the team, and Faisal is a left-arm wrist spinner who can turn the ball in either direction. Or if you're thinking that one of our spinners will have a concussion, you'd have Asif Afridi as the concussion sub. But then what can you possibly gain out of a 38, 39-year-old? Like, you could have gone for Mehran Mumtaz, who's another slow left-armer who's young. How do you view the selection? He also has a history of corruption, by the way, Asif Afridi.
Yeah, I don't get it. That's all. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. There's no succession planning there. Like, if it was like a 31-year-old who's in his prime as a spinner, I'd at least get it. But like 39 just seems a bit too much of a stretch, doesn't it? Yeah. Unless he has like a Mushtaq Ahmed-esque arc where he becomes the better spinner in his 40s. I don't know. Like,
how much better or worse will he be from Noman Ali? And Noman has gone berserk, right? That guy has really picked up. He's picked up the pace. He can bat a bit as well. I just don't. I mean, if it were up to me, I would have picked Mehran Mumtaz. But if their rationale is that Faisal should go play first-class cricket, which he isn't, but if that was a rationale, I'm fine with that. And if it's a concussion sub thing where you're afraid if someone gets injured or someone has a concussion, then fine. Maybe Asif Afridi is the right call. It's a tricky one, man. But overall, it's a strong squad. I mean, Kamran Ghulam is in there as backup batter as well. I don't see Hassan Ali getting a game. I don't see Kamran getting a game either, honestly, because it's just 2 tests. I mean, if there were 3 test matches and Babar failed in 2 test matches, then maybe Kami G could have come in, but I don't see it.
Can't they open with Shan and Abdullah or Imam and have Kamran at 3 and Babar at 4?
In theory, they can do that. He is a good player of spin. But then also, man, I mean, he can't delay entry points either, can he? Kami G likes to play his shots.
Yeah, but I don't know who in that Pakistan team can delay entry points.
Yeah, I mean, Saud should not be fiddled with. He probably can delay entry points, but he is also really good, or probably the best sweeper of the ball in Pakistan, the best in Sarfaraz Ahmed.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the best players to sweep in the world. I'm confident about that.
Yeah, I mean, so Saud is the guy they'll be really banking on, and then everyone else should just try and go.
Fuck it, Noman Ali as the false 3. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go in on the.
Do it, man. Yeah, not opposed to that idea at all. Anyway, here's a chat from Mookie. Mookie, we were talking about you earlier. I've been quoting you on every podcast, by the way, where you mentioned on Twitter that if Mohammad Abbas... Oh, his picture is Mohammad Abbas as well. Wow. Must be a super fan. Yeah. So Mookie, for those of you who missed it, said that if Mohammad Abbas can take wickets at Trent Bridge with the Kookaburra ball, then he can take wickets in Pakistan as well. I love that. I want it on a t-shirt. But yes, you've missed pretty much everything, Mookie. We're about to wrap this up. And let's end this podcast with a few predictions, shall we, Varun? Who do you reckon will be the highest run scorer in this series?
I'll go safe and go Saud Shakil.
I'm going to go full hipster and go Shan Masood. Although Simon Harmer has a lot of left-handers to bowl at, dude. Shan Masood, Imamul Haq, Saud Shakil, Noman Ali. That's a lot.
So usually on ranked turners, it doesn't matter which way you spin the ball. I believe it's so on a flat pitch. The average, I think, when the ball spins away from you is much lower than the ball coming into you. But on a ranked turners is roughly similar. So anything can happen there. So
this is a really fun message by Sheraton KD, by the way. He's gone for Vian Mulder as
I'm in.
Scorer.
Fuck it, might as well.
The best since Brian Charles Lara, right? I mean, we're talking about number 3s not being able to crack it. This dude scored 367 not out and didn't break the record by his own accord. So
indeed,
that's something, right? Although if Pakistan still had those roads, he had every chance of breaking Lara's or having a second shot at breaking Lara's record, right? Okay, I went with Shan Masood. Varun's gone with Saud Shakil. Who do you think will be the highest wicket taker? I mean, if Keshav Maharaj was available for both test matches, I would take his name. But now I'm going to go with Sajid.
I was going to say Sajid too, so I'll go Noman then. I think it's one of them because they'll just spam them.
How about player of the series for you?
Player of the series? That's a fantastic question.
The last time there was a test series in Pakistan
go Noman, I think, guys.
Yeah,
I'll say Noman. Why not?
I'm going with Noman as well because I feel like he might be able to pitch in a few runs with the bat, which could be handy. Last time Pakistan had a home test series on ranked turners, Jomel Warrican was the player of the series. So that's maybe that's why we're kind of tilting towards Noman Ali. And finally, what do you reckon will be the scoreline? What's your scoreline prediction?
1-1.
Yeah, same. I feel like South Africa is going to win one toss, and when one game Pakistan will implode. It just has to happen. I feel like that'll be the case, and maybe that will force them to think what their plan should be with respect to the future and what sort of surfaces they need to curate. Because right now, I feel like Test cricket is on the back burner for Pakistan. There's Test cricket on the first back burner. On the second back burner, you've got domestic cricket, and on the third back burner, you've got women's cricket. That's kind of how it's running right now, I feel. But anyway,
Could make an argument that women's cricket, they just don't care, do they? Like,
yeah,
that's all.
they
Like,
don't
even
do
more
it.
than Test.
The only reason they're running it is because of the full membership, right? I feel like they really don't care. They make these bold claims and everything, and I'm only going to believe them when I see some implementation. That hasn't.
Also,
been the
shout
case.
out
But
to
anyway.
Pakistan for women for giving Australia a fight today.
Yeah, I mean, dude, 76 for 7. That's where Australia stood, and they scored 221 for 9 from there, and that's so Australia. Like Alana King bats at number 10, dude.
I could have bet
Yeah.
good. We could have all bet good money that Michael Bevan and Andy Bickler from that point. All of us. It's like all of us had that feeling. It's the most funniest thing ever.
Yeah. Mookie is saying, Behram, you quote me. I'm so honored. 3 podcasts now, bro. Slog Sweepers, Pro Sports, and now Good Areas. I've quoted you 3 places, and I've given you the shout out as well because I don't steal other people's work. And that is a fantastic quote, by the way. I love it. I do want a t-shirt with that. Anyway, that kind of wraps up this episode, or the second episode of the QazAkonda show. So thank you for all of your interactions, guys. And just a quick reminder, you can go to goodareas.co and bookmark that webpage. That can prove to be your one-stop shop for all the fun work that we do as part of our team, whether it be written content, videos, or podcasts. And as I mentioned at the start of this show, all of our podcasts on the Good Areas Network are powered by our supporters on Patreon. And you can become one of them by going to Patreon/Good Areas Podcast. And that way you can enjoy ad-free content, you can talk to us exclusively, and you can give us podcast recommendations. So all to gain for you, and a very inclusive community as well. You can come and talk about whatever you like, honestly. But anyway, we are both excited for this series. Let's hope that we get some thrillers and some very, very close games and some stupid cricket on top of that, right? Because that's
Of
what we
course.
really want, Varun. Yeah, and you and I will probably come and review these games as well if there's some fun test matches in there.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right, then. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you soon enough. You'll get a quick pick soon. And then, as you know, 5 podcasts per week. And that's all for today. Have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the series as well. And see you later. Goodbye.
This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. If you want to be part of the community that makes content like this, head over now.